For example, what we're going to talk about today is plantar fasciitis.
By far the most common thing we see in our office.
And what I tell patients that come in the office, sometimes without even touching a patient, they'll describe their symptoms. They'll say, I get out of the bed in the morning and it feels like somebody's stabbing me in my heel bone, or I've been sitting for a real long time and I try and get up, it feels like somebody really hit me with an ice pick. Wouldn't you agree that's how people say?
Yeah, in general, if you have pain in the bottom of your foot and your heel and you're not bleeding or something sticking out of it, you most likely have plantar fasciitis. It's not an emergency.
What I do...
It feels like it is, it's not.
What? As a child. But what we do tell patients what I say to patients all the time is, usually if it looks like a duck, acts like a duck, it's usually a duck. Sometimes it's a zebra, which means you might do all the things that we kind of, recommend and you don't get better. And if that's the case, that might be an indication to go see your podiatrist, orthopedist, your foot and ankle specialist. So basically, plantar fasciitis, how I explain to people, do you want to show me your foot?
Yes, if
all right.
Flexible enough. Now remember, we are married, and this
yeah, Dr. Henny wouldn't change his last name. But,
correct.
So if you look...
We are probably going to have an argument or two, but
yeah, because we don't always agree. Even though we were trained at the same place, we
won't
don't always agree. So your plantar fascia, it's a tight band that runs from your heel right before your toes bend. It goes from here to here. What I always explain to patients is plantar fasciitis, in my opinion, is really a muscle imbalance. If you look at your leg, in the front of the leg, we have a little bit of muscle, all of us. And then in the back of the leg, we have a whole bunch of muscle. The muscle in the back, its job is to do this to our foot. The muscle in the front, its job is to do this. The muscle in the back, parts of that muscle become the Achilles tendon, the biggest tendon in our body, even though Dr. Henny has a very tiny, skinny person Achilles tendon. It crosses the ankle joint, inserts into the middle third of the heel bone. So when we go to bed, when we're resting, it becomes a war of the muscles, and the muscle group in the back wins. So when we're at rest, it's still doing this. What that does to the plantar fascia is it contracts it. So when you get out of bed in the morning, I don't want to touch your feet anymore.
I don't blame you.
I will Clorox wipe my hands now. But what happens is you get out of bed in the morning, and seriously, I am Cloroxing my hands. I don't know where those feet have been. So you go from this to this, and it really feels like you're tearing, but the fascia doesn't want to rupture, the bone doesn't want to break. So you get, in my opinion, you get these tiny little micro tears, inflammation, and after you walk on it for a while, it stretches out and feels better.
And now my opinion, with the Clorox wipe, my opinion is plantar fasciitis is a boo-boo. It's like any other boo-boo. It's an injury. So when you go to bed at night, so this is your Clorox wipe, you get a little boo-boo. You walk around, you get a boo-boo. You go to bed at night, it heals up a little bit. You get up in the morning, you walk out, you tear it. So if it heals more at night than you tear it during the day, it gets better in a few weeks. If it tears more during the day than it does sleeping at night, it gets worse. So I like to explain to people, it's a boo-boo. Sometimes the number one reason it doesn't get better is life. Life gets in the way.
You have to work. Or even, like, I explain to patients, which I don't know about you, but
yeah, absolutely. Life,
patients come in
gym.
And I'll say, listen, number one, you can't go barefoot. You need to have something on your feet at all times, something with some good arch support, whether it's a big fat UFU or Spenco flip-flop.
I'm a big fan of the UFUs.
Or, something, even a stupid Croc during the days where you're at home walking around, because I think patients do a lot of damage when they're at home walking around on their feet.
Yes, and I like to use the example of another boo-boo people understand better is getting punched in the face. If somebody's punching you in the face with a fist, it hurts really bad. You put a nice glove on it, it hurts a little less, and every little bit helps. Put that UFU on. It's just a little extra padding for cruising around the house. Let that boo-boo get better, even if you're going to beat it up all day.
But besides just good support, we always explain to patients they have to stretch. Stretching your calf muscle does a lot for stretching out the whole entire deal. And I can put a little link to the stretching exercises. I have a little handy-dandy Center for Ankle and Foot Care stretching exercise sheet. And on that are posterior calf muscle stretches. 3 simple stretches you do 2 to 3 times a day for about a minute and a half. 30 seconds each side, on and off, 3 to 4 times. The other thing I have patients do is get a 20-ounce bottle of water, freeze it, take it out of the freezer twice a day, and for 5 to 10 minutes, roll it back and forth underneath your foot. So you're stretching the fascia and you're kneading it. And ice is a good natural anti-inflammatory. If you're stretching, if you're icing, and you're really protecting it with shoe gear at all times, lots of times it's self-resolving. Do a lot of icing. It's very easy to get better. I always tell patients, I always feel like the hair club president.
Hey, I feel like it's a dig in my baldness.
No, because I've had plantar fasciitis 2 or 3 times in my lifetime, and all 3 times, all I did was stretch, ice, anti-inflammatory. There's only once where I had to take a Medrol dose pack. Dr. Henney, I've personally shot him
that
before.
shots. I'm a big...
Because he's like, I'm hurt, give me a shot.
Shots don't cure anything, but they allow you to get on with your life. So I've had shots. Yeah, I need to go run and do whatever. So I need shots. I'm Dr. Henney.
We're from the Center for Ankle and Foot Care. And if you want any more information or advice, our email address, our office website is centeranklefootcare.com.